Hey guys, it's Abby. Welcome back to my channel. Okay, so we're gonna do Sun in the ninth house. I sort of dropped off on this series. I forgot that I was going through the Sun in the houses. Sorry, I have a Pisces rising, so it's my excuse for everything that I do that's lazy or or spacey or disorganized. They're really just my excuse for everything. Is, oh, I have a Pisces rising. I was disassociating, so it's okay. I'm back now. So the sun in the ninth house is kind of similar, actually. And I just wanted to kind of say what the sun is and what it is in the houses first before I go into it. So the sun is your ego energy. So it's your life purpose, it's your creative life force, and it is, yeah, it's your ego. It's your masculine energy. It is what separates you as an individual from the collective soup of everything around you. So when we're born, we don't know we're separate. That's why we look at our hands as, babies look at their hands. They're like, oh, this is mine. I can control this. And they have a certain development period before they understand that, I'm Abby and that's mommy, like Abby, mommy, they separate. But then around age 6, you develop the ego. And that's when you really sort of kind of unconsciously but conscientiously choose who you as an individual are going to be, like who you are. At least that's our understanding of it now. And that's what differentiates me from you, from this glass, from this water. If we're talking about the 3D world, that's the sun. So your sun energy is a lot, but it is your masculine energy because feminine energy is what connects you to the collective consciousness, right? That's what we tap into when we're tapping into the fifth dimension, for example, which is the quantum level, which is where all of our inspiration comes from. So your sun sign energy is how you express your sun. That's, the sign is how it describes you. So for example, I am an Aries, so I feel when I tap into my masculine energy, I am independent, pioneering, creative, assertive, feisty, independent. I probably said that twice because that's what all Aries want to be. But the house placement of your sun is what life areas are most important to you, the where. So the ninth house represents a lot of things, and that's because the ninth house is naturally ruled by the sign Sagittarius and the planet Jupiter. And Jupiter is the planet of expansion. So Sagittarius is a fire sign, and it is mutable fire, which means this is a very adaptable house. It's a little bit scattered. So if your sun is in the ninth house, you have the need to expand. That is the where for you. Where is everywhere, but there's very specific parts of the ninth house that tend to be the most common areas you want to expand in. So the ninth house represents higher education, religion, philosophy, foreign culture, travel. And when I mean travel, I don't mean traveling around town. That's Gemini, third house stuff, your neighborhood, your community, that's third house, Gemini things. I mean across the world, what is going on in a foreign land I've never been to. That's the feel of the ninth house. And it also rules publishing and a lot of legal issues. So the ninth house encompasses so much, but that's because Jupiter just constantly wants to expand. So, and being it's a mutable sign, Sagittarius, that naturally rules it. So this specific house is a house that rules a lot of different things. Now, when you have your sun here, there's commonalities, regardless of the fact that it encompasses a lot, but there's commonalities amongst people who have sun in the ninth house. So number one, they're always thinking about big things, big ideas. They want to know the meaning of life. What does it all mean? Why are we here? They're thinking about the bigger issues. They could care less about the details, the little things. Even if a Virgo has their sun here, Virgos are, I say Virgo because Virgo is the most detail-oriented sign that I could think of, right? That is the microscopic. But a Virgo with Sun in the ninth house is going to be like microscopic on certain things, like maybe a little bit OCD about how they do certain things. But then they're going to, like, they'll probably be avid readers, but then they're going to be reading about like religion, philosophy, like what is God, the meaning behind life. They're going to be like asking big questions still, because this is the house of what does it all mean? And this is a house of both mental and physical expansion, but also escape in a way. Not escape in the Pisces way, which is 12th house stuff, but like expanding the mind beyond the body. That's, in a way, it's escapism. It's just like a slight differentiation, which I hope you can understand. So something that people with Sun in the ninth house often do is, especially in their youth, is they use drugs, because that is how you escape the body with the mind, and you have these higher realm experiences. And when I say drugs, I mean specifically they usually like psychedelics, or even, I mean, they can get into addictions, because everybody can become addicted, and that's usually what happens. But like, they'll do psychedelics because they want to expand their mind. They want that Alice in Wonderland experience where they're like, I'm in a whole different reality, without having to actually get up and go to a different reality. Now, if you don't go the drug route, that's great. And again, obviously, all depends on your sun sign and the aspects that your sun is making to other planets in your chart. Like, there's no one size fits all in astrology ever. But the ninth house in general with Sun there, you are going to be taking pride and want to shine in these areas. Like, this is who you are proud of, because the Sun is your pride. So you're going to be proud of the fact that you have expanded your mind. And you can actually even be super self-righteous with this placement, because that's, Sagittarius can tend to get on a soapbox. So you have that sort of Sagittarius flavor to you, regardless of your sun sign, in that you can be like, well, my ideas are right. You can be dogmatic about your religious ideas, for example, or your philosophies. And it's like, it's kind of a catch-22. It's kind of like a funny juxtaposition, because you are all about learning and expanding and keeping your mind open. But once you have decided something, you can be like super preachy about it. So you kind of have to be careful about that, because you want to keep your mind open, keep your feminine energies going, which is the receptive energy in you. And that's going to be represented by your moon sign and to an extent your Venus. But in any case, you can tap into feminine energy regardless of your astrological placements. But you're going to take pride and really, like, your ego is going to be wrapped up in your religious and philosophical beliefs. So that's why you can get dogmatic and preachy about things. But that's your journey here. Like, the sun is your life purpose. So who am I to tell you not to? It's what you're exploring. But people can perceive you that way. They can be like, God, like, shut up about your beliefs. Just because you believe that doesn't mean everybody does. But regardless, your life purpose is to expand yourself. So travel itself is something that could be extremely enticing to you, especially foreign travel. You want to experience other cultures. You want to experience their different flavors. When I travel, I have sun in the second house, and I'm all about like food. Like, what can I eat? What kind of nature do they have? Like, do they have good beaches? I want to feel things. Like, I'm in my body, being a second house sun, but you're a ninth house sun. So you're going to want to just like learn the culture. You crave things that are different, that are like the horizon. Like, you crave the horizon. Like, space itself may be interesting to you. Probably astrology and the occult at some point have been enticing to you, but it's not like in an eighth house way, which is like, so you can learn the psychology, so you can have more power. You don't care about power so much. You might be a Scorpio sign, so you might care a little bit about power, but the ninth house is more about just the exploration, like deep space exploration of all different types of religions. You want to get an idea of everything, because you're just like learning, you're craving it. You're like, what does it mean? What does it mean? Something else that is enticing to you is bringing foreign culture into your current home. So, for example, you might marry someone from a foreign culture, or you might like to have friends and people who are around you from different cultures, different religions, different walks of life, because you just want to learn. Like you like that and you take pride in it. So you might have a home that has all this stuff from different lands or different travels that you've been in. You take pride in your stories about backpacking across Europe or going to Thailand or like whatever, wherever you've been. These are the things you take pride in. You are proud of your drug experiences. You're proud of your experiences with religions. Maybe you try different religions on for size, or maybe you're just super involved in one religion. It might not even be about religion for you, but about spirituality. So you might try different spiritual practices, like different meditation types, yoga, whatever you're into. It's going to be about expanding your mind. And the body itself, you might take some rigorous risks with your body, like be into sports of some sort, maybe like mountain climbing or parasailing or things that are slightly risky because you want to see how far you can take it. And I've seen some people with sun in the ninth house that have, like, at some point in their life, they had to completely like reassess everything. So just to give you an example, I'm not going to tell you who this is in my life, but I know someone with a sun in the ninth house who was part of the hippie generation. And so he started to get into drugs and alcohol, as many people in that generation did. They had Neptune in Libra, and for whatever reason, that generation just went crazy with drugs. I think it was part of the like it was a social like escape. I mean, that's what Neptune in Libra would be. It would be like it's socially acceptable to escape. So whatever reason, I don't know why, but that generation, they were all about like peace and love and unity, but they were also about drugs. So a lot of them ended up with addictions because that's what drugs will do to the body. And this person got heavy into drugs and alcohol. He had a lot of experiences, but ultimately he ended up with a severe addiction, and everybody was kind of like, he's the one who's not going to make it. He's the one that's always completely obliterated, like never has it together. Like everyone liked him, but it was just like he was probably one of the worst. And then he had to go through something really severe where he watched a family member commit suicide. And that changed his whole outlook and his whole life, because he realized that his parents would only have him left. And if he didn't clean himself up, then what would they do? It just totally, as that would, it transformed him. And this is a transformative house. So, I mean, it's almost like you're looking for transformation with sun in this house. Like you're looking for something to transform your whole mind. And this for him was it. And he went into rehab and AA, and he just cleaned himself up, and he ended up being a really upstanding, amazing man. And he went into physical therapy, and now and he's older now, but he's just like this amazing person who sees older people in their transitions as they face death, and he watches people who die because that's the work he does. He works with older people, and he has been studying religion and spirituality and has really opened himself up to new ideas because he was raised in a very traditional religion, and now he's opened himself up to all sorts of things like quantum physics and the law of attraction and the fifth dimension and things that I'm into, all that stuff, like channelers and things. Like he's just very open. And he also watches people go through these questions, these big questions, as they face the end of their life and these transitions. And he's really selfless about it. And, I really respect the fact that he made a huge transition in his life. And that is something that you can do with sun in the ninth house. Like you can go too deep, too far, as, Sagittarius often does, like tries too many things, goes too far out there, and then you can transform and you can come back and you can say, okay, it didn't turn out to be about that. but I'm going to go a different direction and the answers will lie there. And you can keep looking for the answers and have that deep faith, just that like undying faith that you're going to find the bigger answers. And one day you will, because one day you'll die and go back to source energy in the fifth dimension, and you'll be non-physical and you'll know all of it. But in this lifetime, you're getting closer and closer and closer to those big answers, and that's your purpose. So, oh, and you also might be really big on higher education. I totally forgot to mention that in this video, but you might really be into college. College like entices you. You might really just like the feel of college campuses and things. Although I feel like in this day and age that's sort of dying out because college itself is kind of becoming like one of those things that people are realizing is redundant and like kind of a hypocrisy of our society, and like college education is crap, you know, it's like overpriced and it's useless, and yet that higher learning thing is just so enticing to you. So you may still be drawn to some sort of higher learning even if it's not college itself, because hypocrisy is not something that you can stand. You're always looking for the bigger truth. So that's all I have for Sun in the ninth house. That was a lot, I think. Yeah, this video is pretty long, but I enjoy talking about the ninth house. It speaks to me because it's a natural fire house and I'm a fire sign. So if you guys have any questions or comments, or you Sun in the ninth house and you want to talk about your experience below, I would love to hear it. And thank you for liking and subscribing and watching. I love you guys. If you'd like a private reading, I do those, and I'll leave a link in the box below to my website where you can order a video reading just for you. All right, guys, I'll see you later. Love you. Bye.